Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.
Welcome to Addod Solutions Current Affairs Program. I am Venkat Sheshareddy. Kerala to take over 13 estates close to forests. Now what is this? What is the purpose behind this? This is an affirmative action towards the solution man-animal conflict. What is this man-animal conflict? If you remember, 2 years earlier, there was a person who fed an elephant with the cracker stuffed food article. Due to this, the elephant has got dead. And that's where it has raised the issue of a man-animal conflict. It was already there as animals are coming into the farmlands or the crops and they are destroying crops. Apart from that, the infrastructure like maybe highways or railways, these all are the areas where human and animals are coming in conflict with each other. Why is this happening? Because of a exorbitant increase in the population of human beings has led to the competitive asset, that is land encroachment on the forest land. Now due to this, what happened is the animals are losing their habitat. When they lose their habitat, for the purpose of food, where they will come? They will be coming into the farmlands or the agriculture fields of the human being, and this is where this is leading to the conflict of a man and animal. Now there is a program that Kerala government has initiated, that is steps are being taken in 27 centers under the Rebuild Kerala Development Program. Now this Rebuild Kerala Development Program is a very important area for our exam in the process of solving or finding a solution for the man-animal conflict. Now let us try to have a look into what is man-animal conflict and how are we going to responsible for this, and then next what solutions we will be able to find. The government established the Rebuild Kerala Initiative RKI to bring about a perceptible change in the lives and livelihoods of its citizens by adopting higher standards of infrastructure for recovery and reconstruction and to build ecological and technical safeguards. These are the areas so that restructured assets could be better withstand floods in the future. Now this is for both human being and the animals. In 2018, Uttar Pradesh government had given its in principle approval to bring man-animal conflict under listed disaster in the State Disaster Response Fund. Now here different states has taken steps in solution for this. Now Uttarakhand government in 2019 carried out biofencing by growing various species of plants in the areas. What is meant by biofencing? Now let us try to if this is the area where this is a farmland is inside this, now you will be growing all the plants along these borders that are of thick and which will not be allowing the animals to enter into this area, so that this will be finding a solution instead of killing the animals for the purpose of protecting the crops. Now the next thing is Supreme Court in 2020 affirmed the right of passage of the elephant and the enclosure of resorts in the Nilgiri elephant corridor. Now these are the measures that are taken. Odisha's Antagar Forest Division has started casting seed balls. Now this is for the food for the elephants. These are the areas. Apart from that, Kaziranga National Park is one of the national park that hit this man-animal conflict deadly, and one-horned rhinoceros is the animal that got affected hugely, and after that elephant is the another animal which has faced this man-animal conflict severely. More plastic items to be banned. Now we have a target of banning plastic by 2022 or mid 2022, and where does this rules has been laid out? In plastic rules of 2016 has made this target to achieve this by 2022, and what are those? Coming July next year, the manufacturer of a range of plastic products will be banned. These include earbuds. Now what are those plastic products? Now these are very much important. Earbuds, plastic sticks, plastic flags, ice cream sticks, like thermocol for decoration, plates, cups, etc., etc., all these straws, boxes, all these kind of things. And one of the important area where e-commerce is the area where most of the plastic is being misused or been wasted, and this is causing non-biodegradable pollution in water as well as the soil pollution. Now we will be discussing about the little more in this article itself. Now so far we have rejected or maybe controlled the manufacture or selling of plastic that are of 50 micron or less than 70 micron, but it will be periodically increasing the size of the plastic so that finally the single use plastic will be eradicated from the usage in the society. And Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2021, which prohibits specific single use plastic. Now this single use plastic is the term that is important, which have low utility and high littering potential by 2022. This is of a very low utility but high littering. Now water bottles that we consume, these are one of the biggest trouble in the tourism. Now wherever we go on tourism, now these sites are getting hugely littered by the water bottles. That is, plastic packaging waste is not yet covered under the phase out of single use plastic items. Now, Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016, currently the rule prohibits manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale and use of carry bags and plastic sheets less than 50 micron in thickness in the country. So far it is only 50 micron or less than 50 micron plastic bags is been banned in our country, but there are rules and regulations that are laid out for the future. There is a ban on sheets using plastic material used for storing, packaging or selling gutka, tobacco and pan masala. At the 4th United Nations Environment Assembly in 2019, India piloted a resolution on addressing pollution caused by single-use plastic products. The ministry in a note on Friday said the waste management infrastructure in the state and union territories was being strengthened through the Swachh Bharat mission. Swachh Bharat mission is another area where we have strengthened this waste management rules, requested for setting up of a special task force for elimination of single-use plastic and effective implementation of the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016. A national level task force had also been constituted by Ministry for taking coordinated efforts to eliminate identified single-use plastic items and effective implementation of the Waste Management Rules 2016. Now what is this single-use and how this plastic waste is causing troubles? Now whatever the things that we are using as a single use, like earbuds or even covers, plastic covers, packaging or maybe ice cream buds or these ice cream cups, etc. These all are the things that we are using for one use only. What are the more than once we are using? Maybe we are using buckets or maybe any other household utilities. Likewise, where we are using it for more than once. But single use are the most dangerous littering agent of the plastic pollution. Now, what are these? These are non-biodegradable. When these are non-biodegradable, it will be continued in the soil for more years, like hundreds of years, that will be sustained in the environment only, which finally lead to the soil pollution, and along with that it will be causing water pollution. Whenever it enter into the water bodies, what happens is this will be covering the entire top layer of the water body. That due to that, biological oxygen demand will be growing, as this will not let the sunlight and oxygen to enter into deep inside the water body. That causes blooming of algae and maybe other animals or the life in the water bodies will be dead. This will be causing a huge catastrophe for the human beings as well as life on the earth. Now what are those main articles? Now here plastic items such as following are set to be banned from next year: straws, earbuds, balloon sticks, flags, ice creams and candy sticks, wrapping film, etc. Plastic or PVC banners. Now this is one of the important area where whenever we want to celebrate something, we will be going for the PVC flexi, either that may be social or political or maybe that is of any kind. We are going for this, and also we are making the political party flags or maybe some other areas where these are completely littering the cities, entire cities. So that is one important cause of concern where we have to ban this area so that we will be able to safeguard. As recently there was a IPCC report has given that already we have reached to a level of 1.1 degrees centigrade of temperature has increased over a period of 150 to 200 years from the time of industrial revolution. If we are not going to contain this pollution, then what happens is finally it will be causing increase of or the rate of increase of temperature will be raised. Due to this, glaciers will be melted and the sea level will be rising. Now due to this, most of the areas will be flooded or submerged under the seawater. Along with that, coupled with climate change, will lead to even more temperatures and more rainfall that lead to finally catastrophes. Now from September 30, polythene bags under 75 micron won't be allowed. From 31st December, these under 120 micron will be banned. So far, now the present rule is 50 micron, and from September 30 it is 75 micron, and from December 31st it will be 120 micron. Now these are the rules that we are going to follow to eliminate the single use plastic by 2022. There may be a possible question in the preliminary exam. We have set a target of which year to eliminate the single use plastic: 2021, 2022, 2024, etc. Now how can we tackle with this problem? We can tackle this with this problem. Replan. Now this replan is reducing plastic in nature. How can we reduce this plastic in nature? Reducing the usage of plastic or consumption first of all. If we are necessary to consume those, then we have to reuse and recycle. We have to encourage reuse and recycle, refurbish, so that we will be able to reduce the consumption and manufacturing. Then finally it will be helping the nature and human being. New museums on Jammu Kashmir, Buddha and freedom struggle. As we know, Article 370 is been modified or amended by the presidential order. Now what is this presidential order? Under Article 370 subclass 1 and subclass 3, there are provisions that these are not repealed. Article 370 is not been repealed. It is just like a presidential order that is given that to remove the statehood for the Jammu and Kashmir, and it has promulgated 2 union territories in this area. Now what are these and how these are going to change and why we have done this? There are areas where we have done this for the purpose of to converge this Jammu and Kashmir into the mainland, or to make the one nation, or to generate the feeling of one nation. And external areas are in the situation of geopolitics, that Afghanistan is going to almost occupied by the Taliban people very soon. That is as soon as the US troops exit from the Afghanistan, and this may be a threat from the outside. And apart from that, this has been the part of our country for the last 70 years after independence. And then what is the history of Jammu and Kashmir? Jammu and Kashmir has been the part of our country right from the very old times, that is even before Christ itself. How can we say that? Buddhism has flourished in this region, and based on the councils that has happened, 4th council of Buddhism has happened in this Srinagar only, and that is in the under the Kanishka time. Now here these all are the things that are telling about the history of Jammu and Kashmir, so that we will be able to converge this idea of oneness or the Indianness. For the development of that idea, we are promoting a first of its kind, that is based on the Jammu and like a museum that is telling all the stories of Jammu and Kashmir, Buddhism and freedom struggle of the time, so that it will be enriching or evoking the feeling of oneness. Now there are tribal people or tribal community, mostly Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh areas are inhabited by the tribal people. What are those tribes? Now they like maybe whenever we are reading an article, it is very much important to look into other like relevant areas as well, so that we will be able to get to know much of the knowledge. Now Balti tribe, Bakarwals, Dogra, Brokpa, Changpa and Beda, these are the tribes. Now there may be a question that will be given, which of the following are the tribes from Jammu and Kashmir? Now there may be Chanchu, Naga or Dogra and Bakarwals. Now there may be answer, Dogra and Bakarwals are the people who are coming from this Jammu and Kashmir. Article 370, Central Intelligence Information Commission rejects disclosure of police sites security strategic interests. Now there is a person from Indian Express has filed that what are the changes that has made, and under this Right to Information Act. Under Right to Information Act, there are some limitations wherever it is causing issues of security issues for the internal security or maybe national security, then that information will not be disclosed even though you have the right to information. And apart from that, judiciary is one another area where Supreme Court will not be coming under this right to information And now under section 8(1)(a) of the Right to Information Act, which exempts information disclosure of which would be prejudicially affect the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security, strategic, scientific or economic interests. What are those areas? Security, strategic, scientific or economic interest of the state, relation with foreign state are led to incitement of an offense. Now these are the areas where it is necessary to mention when we are writing an answer in the mains exam critically. In a first, India is set to import 15 lakh tons of GM soya meal. What is this GM? GM means genetically modified crops. Now these genetically modified crops, does we have permission to grow the genetically modified crops? No. In our country so far we have given only for one crop, that is BT cotton. Now this is the only crop that got the permission. By now in our country we have met almost 95% of the cotton that is grown is from the BT seeds only. Now what is this BT cotton and what is this genetically modified seeds? As we know, when we were running short of the food grains, then we have come across with the green revolution. What is this green revolution? Increase in the productivity by adding more amount of chemical fertilizers and the pesticides and water. Now these are the irrigation facilities. These are the things which has led to increase in the production of the grain, or the productivity has grown from 3 bags per hectare to 30 bags or even 100 bags per hectare. This has led to the sufficiency of food or the food security. Now a situation has arisen due to this pesticides and insecticides and fertilizers. What happened is the soil is got polluted, and then the pest and the insects that are almost develop the resistance, which has led to increased usage of furthermore chemicals, finally which led to the increased input cost, and the returns on the investment for the farmer is very less. Now to get rid of these problems, not just this problem, the another problem that we have in our country is, our country agriculture is completely depends upon the monsoon, and monsoon is known for its vagaries. Even this year also it is predicted that a normal monsoon with a surplus amount of rainfall, but this is not evenly distributed. What is meant by evenly distributed? It should be given certain number of spells in June to October, so that only the crops will not be dried up in between if there is a gap of the spell. Now it's been couple of weeks, there are no rainfall in our country, and that is the reason why if a crop is exposed to the sunlight without having a rainfall or the spell of the rain, then what happens is this crop productivity gets drastically affected. Now to find a solution for such kind of vagaries, whenever there is a drought in our country or floods in our country, then definitely agriculture is the most affected area where it will get affected. Now what is the number of population that is dependent on agriculture? Even till date about 50% or more than 50% of population is still dependent upon agriculture itself. If this huge chunk of population get affected, then definitely GDP of the country and development and growth of the country also get affected. Now to control such situations, what scientists has thought, they have wanted to find out a solution for such things, and now these genes are being transferred from one type of gene to another type of gene, so that finally what they wanted to develop, they wanted to develop a pest resistant and drought resistant, or maybe the climate extreme resistant, all these kind of resistant plants that these scientists want to develop. Then what is the problem that is going to happen? Now GEAC, Genetical Engineering Appraisal Committee, is the committee that is going to give the permission for this any crops that are of GM type. Now there is no study that is whether these type of crops are safe or not. They may be posing a severe health disorder or the hazard for the human being. Apart from that, there is another issue where if you are encouraging monopolistic type of plants, then what happens? These plants may become the invasive plants, and that will be leading to killing of the diversity of flora. When the diversity of flora get affected, then finally it will be an ecological disaster. So when we have such kind of fears, we are not able to entertain or allow any genetically modified crops to be allowed in our country for the production except the BT cotton. Now why are we importing this BT soya meal? Now what is this soya meal? Recently there is increase in the cost of the grain in our country. Now where we are using this grain? We are using this grain in the poultry segment. Poultry is one of the area animal husbandry segment, allied sector of the agriculture. Now here when we have huge demand of chicken and eggs in our country, the feed cost is going to be multiplied. Like in about 10 years, they have been 3 times increasing the cost of the feed from 40 rupees per kilo to 120 rupees per kilo, and this has led to the exacerbant increase in the cost of the eggs or the meat. Now to control this, what the government has allowed? The government has allowed to import the soya meal that is to be used in the allied sectors of the agriculture, that is in the form of maybe poultry. But here this is only de-oiled coke but not the live. Now so far we have not allowed to import or storage or maybe cultivate any type of live GM crops. So it is only de-oiled coke that is been allowed. Import will be allowed as soya de-oiled cake alone, as it is a non-living organism. Union Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy said the import of genetically modified organisms and living modified organisms is restricted. This is not allowed. Now there may be a question that import of genetically modified organisms and living organisms, modified organisms are allowed, and then soya meal is also allowed, BT crop is allowed. Which of the following statements are the correct or true related to genetically modified crops? Now this statement is wrong, which is not allowed. However, soya de-oiled cake or meal do not fall under the categories. It falls under the non-living organism category. Now genetic engineering appraisal committee is the committee that is responsible to give the permission to the any crop that is to be grown in our country that is under genetically modified crop. BT cotton is the only GM crop allowed in our country so far. How revising Arunachal Pradesh ST list helps self-identification? Now this year I am going to expect a question on the tribes, as it has been repeatedly having some importance. Now this recognition of tribes in Arunachal Pradesh was a issue of a colonialistic government, and after that there was no revision. But now after 75 years of independence, we have revised, the parliament has made changes to do away the mistakes that has done in earlier colonial government. Now there is been belief that there are 16 tribes, but even some people believe that there are 26 tribes in the Arunachal Pradesh. And what are those tribes and what are the names that are excluded or included or maybe wrongly spelt, or maybe whenever you are not spelt correctly, or whenever you include only mother organization and you are not including the subcategories, then these are not allowing the people to entitle that benefits as they are getting due to this scheduled tribes. Now if you want to get admission in the universities, you are not able to get, as it is not mentioned in the list. Now what are those? Abor is been removed, Kampti and Mishmi. Mishmi is been divided into another 3. Momba, Any Naga tribe is been removed from the list. Present these are the changes that are made into the tribal list. So definitely there will be a question on this area. And what are the names? Name the tribe correctly. Name in 1950 order. Abor being deleted because Adi also listed in the order is the same as Abor. So Abor is been removed. Adi is been there. So Adi is the tribe and which is also same as Abor. So Abor is been removed. So there may be definitely question on this area. And Kampti being corrected as a Thai Kampti. Now here KHAMPTI, though I am sounding rhetoric, but definitely these are very much important. So do not neglect such minor things, because this will be costing you negative marks if you give such a wrong answer. Otherwise it is a easy 2-mark question that you will be getting in the prelims examination. Being corrected to Thai Kampti. Now districts where they are living. These are not much important areas. Namsai is the district. Mishmi, Idu or Tarun. Mishmi, Kaman. Miju, Mishmi. Idu, Mishmi. And Tarun, Digu, Mishmi being named as separate tribes. Now earlier it was only Mishmi tribe, but they have been named into 3 another new types. Momba being replaced with the names of 4 tribes: Monpa, Memba, Sartang and Sajolang. These are the new tribes that are included. Any Naga tribe being replaced with the names of 4 Naga tribes: Nokte, Tangsa, Tutsa and Wanko. These are the tribes. These are the names that are included in the present one, so that they will be getting more or better identification. The bill seeks to modify part 18 of the schedule 2, the Constitution, Scheduled Tribes Order 1950. Part 18 lists 16 tribes of Arunachal Pradesh. Now please try to memorize these 16 tribes. There is no another way. Abor, Aka, Apanta and Niyeshi, Galong, Kamti, Kova, Mishmi, Idu and Tarun, Momba, any Naga tribes, Sherkupen and Singpo, Hrusso, Tagin and other one is there. Now for example, there are 3 groups of Mishmi, Idu, Kaman and Taron, but in 1950 order it is mentioned just as a Mishmi, but in reality Idu is different from Kaman and Taron linguistically as well as aspect of culture. Kaman and Taron are culturally similar. Now these are the areas where they have led to identification. Since the term any Naga tribe has been removed and the 4 tribes Wanko, Tutsa and Sanga, Nokte will not be referred to as Naga but known by their own name. They may not be welcome the move, said an observer. Now as there may be some against, there is a group called NSCIN. Now this group Naga group, they want to Nagalim, Greater Nagalim. And what is Greater Nagalim? An area that is entirely covering the Naga population. Now these people may feel that they are losing their identity and they are losing their demand of Greater Nagalim. We will be discussing about Greater Nagalim whenever it is appropriate. Now keep watching Addod solutions for the daily current affairs that are relevant for the exam.
Addod solutions. Add-on desired.